Week 24 of the 2025-26 NBA season is over, which means it's time to run it back. This is Run It Back NBA Week in Review Heat Edition. I'm Eric Labrador at thepeachbasket.net covering the Miami Heat. This is the show where we recap the week that was in the NBA and then highlight the marquee matchup for the week to come for the Miami Heat. In a review of the week, it makes me think of Pat Riley's phrase that there's only winning and misery in emotional states. And that was the week for Miami. In Indy, on Sunday, they needed the game. And a key sequence in the game is where the Heat missed 5 shots in a row. The Pacers scored, then missed another 5 shots. The Pacers scored again. Then they missed another 4 shots. The Heat went 5 of 28 in the fourth quarter and let a very important and needed game go. But then the next night at the Kaseya Center, playing a playoff-tested and ready Philadelphia 76ers team that had Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey all playing, the Heat pulled away with a 14-0 run late in the game to win. For all intents and purposes, every Miami Heat fan perked up and thought, hey, wait a minute. There could be something here. Then came Boston on Wednesday. Boston showed that since the 2023 Eastern Conference Finals, they've won all the battles. The Heat won the war in the Eastern Conference Finals that time. But Boston has won all the battles, outclassing, outplaying Miami, embarrassing Miami. They've won 10 straight in Miami. Jaylen Brown had 43 points. Jayson Tatum had a triple-double without even breaking a sweat. Then in Washington, the Heat did take care of business, playing the Wizards and beating them. Kel'el Ware had a big game. Moving to the power ranking segment, the Heat dropped. They've been languishing between 7, 8, 15 in the power rankings. You can read more about how we get to these rankings and see the entire list at thepeachbasket.net. The top 5 teams are going to be in the final 4 of the NBA playoffs, competing for the chance to win a title. And the Knicks are probably the +1 that could throw a monkey wrench into everything. But the Knicks, Celtics, Pistons, Spurs, and Thunder will be in the final 4s of each conferences as they've been in the power rankings all season. In our Standout Stats segment, Tyler Herro led in points, threes made, and field goals attempted. A very good week for Tyler Herro. Bam Adebayo led in total rebounds, pure efficiency, and defensive rebounds. Jaime Jaquez, not Kel'el Ware, not Bam Adebayo, stepped up, averaging 2.3 offensive rebounds per game. Davion Mitchell, a solid point guard, steady compass since the trade of Kyle Lowry last year, 6.5 assists average per game this week. And the quintessential NBA professional, that's what I call him, Eric Reed, the Heat play-by-play announcer, calls him the quiet storm. Andrew Wiggins always finds a way to contribute with 1.8 blocks per game and 1.5 steals per game. So now on to the marquee matchup segment. The Heat have no room for error, and they have to find a way to win these games. The toughest test is going to be a 2-game series in Toronto against the Raptors. The Raptors are up on the Heat 2-0, winning both games here in Miami. Historically, the Heat have not played well in Toronto. They have gotten, and I've seen it for myself in Scotiabank Arena, as a fan, the Heat have gotten run out of the gym. So it is a tall task, but they're going to get on the plane and go and show up and play. Emmanuel Quickley isn't playing, and Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes are playing through injuries. But again, the Heat historically haven't played well in Toronto. Then the Heat, after that 2-game set, they go to Washington and finish the season series against the Wizards. Miami has to, again, as always, take care of business and beat the Wizards. Every team is an NBA team. It's not an NBA team with an asterisk. It's not a semi-pro team. It's an NBA team. So Miami can't afford to take any 3 or 4 steps back and lose to the Wizards. And finally, to close out week 25, which would be next week, they're home at the Kaseya Center against the Atlanta Hawks. In our viral pressure segment, the Heat are in the 10th seed, and as per AI, they face a matchup with the Orlando Magic in Orlando if the season ended today. The Heat are 1.5 games out of the 8th spot versus Charlotte and have a better opponent record in the last 4 games to catch them for the 8th seed. This is a place where Miami can get up off the canvas and find their way into the 7-8 game. But AI also was able to find out that Charlotte, their most used lineup of LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, Conconnable, and Moussa Diabate has a 29.3 net rating. They are the most efficient lineup in the NBA as per cleaningtheglass.com. Now I know when I say that, everybody's curious. What is the net rating for the Heat's most used lineup? That would be Davion Mitchell, Tyler Herro, Pelle Larsson, Andrew Wiggins, and Bam Adebayo. They are at a 4.2 net rating. The Orlando Magic, which are currently right now in the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference, their most used lineup of Suggs, Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bane, Tristan Da Silva, Paolo Banchero, and Wendell Carter is at 9.4. I write about this on the Peach Basket website. The Heat internally have problems. Nobody knows what it is. Personally, I think, and Dan Lebitard brought it up last season, that possibly, with no evidence claiming anything here or there, just supposition, that Nick Arison perhaps is clashing in his long-term view of the franchise with Pat Riley. Pat Riley is 80 years old. Nick Arison is around 45. I write a couple of things. One also, maybe, and purely this is from a fan's point of view, following the copycat theory, for Eric Spoelstra to hand over the head coaching reins to Chris Quinn and move into the front office, similar to what Brad Stevens did in Boston, moving to the front office, and then either Joe Mazzulla or Ime Udoka being the head coach of the team. Obviously, something has got to give. The Heat seem to be eternally cursed with being in the play-in every year. When you don't have a player like Jimmy Butler, then those runs to the finals just fall flat. Similar to when Dwayne Wade was lost to the Atlanta Hawks with the Miami Heat in the 2009 NBA playoff first round, and he said, never again, similar to Bam Adebayo, never again do I want to lose in the first round. The Heat are at that point now with the talent of Bam Adebayo and the other guys that they have there. That's it. Week 24 of the NBA's 2025-26 season is done. Join me next week for the end of the season and the playoffs when we run it back. Have a good day, everybody.